Hello everyone, this is our first lesson here and we're going to see how this works. Today we are talking about comparing and ordering common fractions, and here you see a number line, and take a guess of, or just look at it and think about what the number line is showing. You can see that it's showing that it's increasing by 10, so it starts with 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And you can look and see those different intervals that are here. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And so increasing by 10 each time. Those are obviously not fractions, but we want to look at the next one here and think about this next number line. Think about what are the intervals that you see. If you're thinking, well, we've got 5 and 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, I can see you raising your hand. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20. They are increasing by intervals of +5. You are right, Landon. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. Now we're getting more into our lesson here, because remember the objective today is to compare and order fractions. So we have a common fraction of 1/2, and you're looking at the number line again, and you can see that that number line has 1/2, and then it goes from 1/2 to 2 halves, and then 3 halves, and 4 halves. So again, I want you to think about, and it shows us here, but what is that? What is each interval? So it goes up 1/2 as it shows here. Then you're adding another half, and that gives you the 2 halves. Then you're adding, yes, another half. That gives you the 3 halves. You can see our numerator over our denominator here. Numerator saying that we have 3 halves, 1, 2, and 3. And finally, we're up to 4 halves. So the interval here is that we keep adding those halves. You can see where they're at on our number line. So let's look at this next one. This one's blank. Take a look and see what you notice here. You do have a 0, and you have a whole number sitting on the other side, which is a, what are you thinking? Hopefully you're thinking that you see a 1 there. And now my computer's doing some weird things. You can't see this, but I can. And so I'm just checking it. Sorry, I hope this is all coming out. Otherwise I'll do it multiple times. No, I lost my screen. Hang on, guys. Okay, so we see a 0 and a 1. Right? So here's a whole number of a 1. Here's 0. We've got a number line. And so I want you to look at the green lines that are on this number line, and think about, how many pieces has the whole number line been divided into? See if you can count them. Are you thinking 4? Because there's 4 pieces. So what is each one of these pieces called? There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if we have 4 pieces, what do we call each of those pieces? This is 1, that's our numerator, over the denominator, which shows how many pieces we have in total, 4th, right? So actually, I kind of put that in the wrong spot, because 1/4 is right here, isn't it? Not where the first one is. So there's 1/4. Let me see if I can erase that. Okay, and you're probably already looking and you're finding the 2nd force, or 2/4. 2/4 is also equivalent to 2 is what of 4? If you're thinking a half, you're absolutely correct. And then we have 3/4, and finally 4/4, which gives us what whole number? 1 whole. You're absolutely right. Take a look at the red, because remember what our objective here is. We're trying to compare and order fractions, common fractions. So, you know, quarter and a half, 3/4, 4/4 are all common fractions. Take a look at the number line, look at the red. How many pieces do you see there? If you're thinking that you see 3, there's 1, 2, and finally 3. So what are those called? If you said a third, you're absolutely right. So, or thirds, I should say. So there's 1/3, then we have 2/3, and finally we have 3/3. So if we look at that, we actually can make some comparing, right? I could ask the question, okay, look at 2/4 compared to 2/3. So 2/4, which is equivalent to 1/2, correct? 2/4 and what did I say? 2/3. Which one is greater, 2/4 or 2/3? Look at your number line, and you can see 2/3 is greater than 2/4 or 1/2. So we've compared those fractions. You'd even compare 1/4 and 1/3. Which one is greater, 1/4 or 1/3? Again, you should be able to see that 1/3 is greater than 1/4, judging by the number line. Okay, let's continue. Look at these numbers. These are whole numbers. These are not fractions. And pretend like you were comparing them. So let's compare 26 and 5. Which one's greater? 2 10s and 6 1s compared to 5 1s. Obviously 26 is greater. How about 5 1s and 12? Well, obviously 1 10 and 2 1s are greater than just 5. How about 1 10 and 2 1s compared to 3 10s and 8 1s? Obviously 3 10s is greater. Whoa, that was cool. Okay? Which is the greatest number, 26 or 38? Well, 38. Why? Because it has 3 10s and 26 only has 2 10s. So let's continue on here. If you're looking at a number line and looking about where those would be put on the number line, if you just had 10, 20, 30, and 40 on the number line, you can see where those numbers would be placed.